Hello everyone. Welcome back to our channel. Today we'll be talking about Azure File Share, specifically about the file sync service which Azure is offering. So we'll do a tutorial and we'll see how we can, use this file sync service in Azure and try to access our data or whatever the our company's the data which we want to have in a centralized file share, which can be accessed from anywhere. And for us to do that, we would be we would be requiring a virtual machine, which it can be your on-prem. Suppose consider a use case where in your office you have a on-prem machine. So and suppose maybe one of your office headquarters is in India, and one branch is in India, another branch is in maybe US. So now there'll be definitely machines or clients which will be in both the offices, which would need data. Now the simplest way to do is to have the data present on prem in both the places, but that is going to cost a lot, and it's difficult to manage as well. So considering everyone is moving to cloud, and as all the companies already are on cloud, this is one good feature, a service which Azure is offering, which they can use. So if we go to the documentation page, so Azure File Sync enables centralizing your organization's file shares in Azure files while keeping, having other features like flexibility, performance, and you don't have to manage the underlying infrastructure. So I would suggest you to have a quick read. It's pretty simple. Basically, what we are trying to do is we are trying to have a one centralized location where all our data is there, so that different people in the organization can access it from the cloud without having to worrying about the underlying infrastructure. Now, like I said, let's get into the tutorial, and as we do each step, we'll just get to know more about the service. So what I have done is, before this video, I've just created a virtual machine, which I'll be considering, as that is you can consider that is one of your on-prem machine. So I'll just log into that. So this is that machine. So let's get back here. Yeah. So firstly, let's create this Azure File Sync. Okay. So this is a service which Azure is offering, which you would have to create in order to create a sync group. That sync group would have all the virtual machines and the Azure file, which is Azure file service, which will be on cloud, which is where the data will be. So once you create that sync group, it is, as the name suggests, it's a sync group where data would be synced, and you will be able to access it from your client machine. So let's get started. So firstly, Azure File Sync, this is the service which you want to deploy. So you can just go through a quick read through this as well. So let me just create it quick. You can just give a name. File Sync 007. Just give a friendly name. I will select Central India. So that's being created. Meanwhile, there are some prerequisites. Now, as that is being created, what we'll do is if you can quickly go back to the virtual machine. The first thing is, if you go to the server manager, you would have to turn off these Internet Explorer enhanced security configuration, because once we would have to deploy the file sync agent on this machine, which would basically be doing all the listening and all the kind of it will be monitoring, not listening exactly, it would be monitoring the files which are stored on this machine, and it would be syncing. So for us to do that, we would have to first one time do this, where we would be doing just switching it off, and okay. So once let that, okay. So now what we'll have to do is we want to install the Azure Sync agent, Azure File Sync agent. Okay, so let's yeah, this is the one. System of the machine. So just do a basic install. So yeah, here it's recommended that you have this selected, where it will automatically update whenever there is a new version available. So let's just select it. So while this is happening, let's get back. What we would do meanwhile is, let's create the storage account, because that is required, so that we can, for us to create an Azure file share, first we would have to create a storage account. So let's do that. So storage account, let's create that. So I'll put it in the same resource group just to manage it better. So you have two tiers, standard. We would create a file share on this. So if we see here, our file sync, the storage Azure file sync service which we had created, that is being provisioned. Now if you see, it gives you an option of creating a sync group. So that is what we would be doing. We would create a sync group, and in that group we would be that group would consist of the file share which we are going to create in the storage account, and it would consist of all the virtual machines, or all the on-prem machines on which the agent is installed. The Azure file sync agent is installed. We'll have to link it as a part of one group, so that, as the name suggests, this will be a sync group, and then all the data can be accessed either ways, from the portal from Azure or from the machines on which you have installed the agent and which are part of the sync group. So yeah, the storage account is created. Now let's go to file share. We'll create a file share here. File share. Okay, so yeah, regarding file share, just a quick thing. The tiers which they offer are premium and then standard. In standard, apart from so premium is something where you have, if you choose while creating the storage account, if we go for a premium tier, that is when this would be there. So as you can see, it is grayed out here. So other than that, you have transaction optimized, hot and cool, based on what you. So if your use case is something where you just want to archive your the data, then better to go for cool, where you're not going to access it much. But if it is more of, if suppose it's a migration kind of use case, so obviously there would be more of transactions happening. So better to go for this, where Azure will make sure that the cost is comparatively less. So yeah, so that one, and it is giving all the metrics what based on what you have selected. And so let's just create it. Yep, so that's created. Currently there will be no files or anything in that. Okay, so let that be. Now as this is created, let's go back to our machine. And yeah, the sync agent is now installed. Okay, so once that is installed, right, we would have to sign into our account. Now you can give your Azure, it just takes as Azure Cloud. So let's sign in. Okay, so once you are logged in, your subscriptions would be appearing here. Go select the subscription where you have your the sync service created. Let's select the resource group. Then it will show the storage sync services available in the resource group. So here, this is our sync service which we just created, and we would have to register it here. Yeah, so this is happening. Meanwhile, let's just go here. So this is the file share which we created, and this is the sync service which we created. Now if we go back here, yeah, so the registration is successful, where what we have done is the agent installed on this, we have registered this with the storage sync service which we created in our subscription. Now yeah, it would do a network connectivity test as well to see if the connection all the prerequisites are met. So as you can see, it's passed. So let's just close this. Now once this is done, we can just go back here. What we would do here is, let's create the sync group. So let's name this group. Okay, just give a friendly name, your subscription, select the storage account, where so this where your you have your file share. So this is my storage account I've selected, and select the file share which you created. Okay, so once this is done, your sync group is basically being created. So when you go here, so here if you see it, you can have a cloud endpoint or you can have a server endpoint. So as the name suggests, if you want this group to so you can add multiple server endpoints. So that's what I gave you an example earlier, that suppose you have one of your offices maybe in India, another somewhere in US. So each and there are some 2-3 machines here and 2-3 machines there, all those can be added as a server endpoint. So your cloud endpoint, as you have linked your Azure file share, you can see the cloud endpoint is this. Okay, now server endpoint, I'm going to add my server endpoint. So here you would all your machines which have the agent and registered on these file sync service would appear here. Okay, so it gives you some some basic description. So registered server, if you have registered, that is when it's going to appear here. So this is the virtual machine which is registered. Now here you have to give it the path. Okay, so the where your data is there. Now let's go here. So ideally, you would have your maybe an F drive or an E drive or some kind of partition where you would have all your data. So you can give the path to that. So for now, just for the demo purpose, let me just create a file sync demo. And in this, what I would do is, let me create a basic text file, demo file. Okay, and in this, so just this is a demo file. Okay, now yeah, let's save this and close. So what I would do is, let's come here, and yeah, so I'll copy this, and this is what I will give it here as the path. Yeah, so okay, apart from this there are some options where cloud tiering. So this is basically to give you a a quick like explanation for this cloud tiering. It's like your your whole data, suppose whatever your data you have here in the cloud, file share, you don't it won't be completely like downloaded or present on your local machines. It would be based on what data you're accessing and all. So the agent is smart enough to perform a proper tiering, where only as you can say, it transforms your server endpoint into a cache for your files in the Azure file share. Different policies help you to fine tune the cache behavior, so you can enable this for a proper optimization. So let's just enable it, and based on what your use cases you can select for the demo. Let me just yeah, I'll give the obviously merge content, initial upload, and leave it as such. So here I am giving the server endpoint. Okay, so let's create this. So now when we go, as we have, once this is done, right, once the server endpoint is properly done, from the file share which we just created, right here, we would be able to see the text file, the demo folder which we created, which has the text file, that we should be able to see it here. That is what it means if it is successfully done. So let's wait for this. Yeah, so this seems like it's done. Let's go back to the file share. Yep, so as you can see, earlier when we created this file share, it was just an empty file share. Now you can see all the data, the in our folder, which the path which we gave, the D drive. These were the folders present. If you can see, this is the file sync demo folder which I created there. And when you just go inside here, you have the demo file text. So if I edit this, see, this is a demo file. This is the one which we created there. Now let me rename this file just to give a quick demo file 01. So okay, I have renamed this. So if you see here in this folder, the file name has been changed. So let's go back here. Yes guys, so as you can see, now the name change which we have done here, demo file, earlier it was just demo file. I changed it here on my server as demo file 01, and the same is being reflected here, demo file 01. Okay, so that is how it would be. As they are part of a sync group, you will be able to see the the sync happening almost not with much of lag, based on the data which you have. Okay, so this was a tutorial, guys. It's just a simple use case which I had shown. Just one quick thing I want to say, that generally we don't use the temporary storage to store any data, but I just, for the demo purpose, I just showed it here. Ideally your data would be in some other, you make a partition and you have your data, but otherwise this was the demo where the path which we gave, the data, we are able to, whatever the data changes, whatever we're making here, we are able to access it, keep it on cloud. And then as part of the sync group, if you can, as you keep adding different server endpoints, like you can you have an option of adding more. So based on the machines on your on-prem, you can add it, and then you can have a centralized file share where you have all your data. And it's like really not much to manage here. Based the initial setup is what would take time. Once that is done, it is centralized and completely managed by Azure. So that was the video, guys. Thank you so much for your time, and if you need any kind of training or any kind of support for your cloud related, Azure related stuff or PowerShell or something, please reach out to us. We have the email in the description. I'll be mentioning in this video. Okay, thank you so much for your time.